Hey, good afternoon, everybody. We're going to take a look in this update at the kind of blocking we're going to have in the next couple of weeks. Now, if you followed my earlier updates, I was talking about an SSW event, a sudden stratospheric warming event. Um, we're going to get that. We actually are getting that now, in fact, but it's not going to create a negative NAO because of the block it's going to produce. Now, there's different types of blocks regarding the EPO and the QBO and even the WPO, and they can all produce different effects in terms of the cold and where it's displaced in the USA. Now, the type of SSW that we're going to get is not going to produce a negative NAO, which means that we won't have cold in the eastern half of the USA because this block is going to be centered over Alaska and it's going to allow troughing to occur in the western half of the USA and more of a ridge to set up in the eastern half of the USA. So my prediction was accurate. We are getting the SSW event, although it's not going to produce the type of extreme cold. I'm talking overall in the long range in the next 45 days. I'm not talking about, the cold I believe Vermont's seeing right now and whatnot. I'm talking about the overall pattern. We're talking long range here on my channel in the next 45 days. And so again, this SSW, it's if you can take a look, it's a big block there in the upper altitudes of the air right over Alaska. So that's not far enough east for there to be cold air displaced over Ohio. It's simply not in favor of where you would want a block to get eastern cold. It's more for western cold. Taking a look at the NAO again, like I said, positive NAO leads to more warmer conditions in the eastern half of the USA. We're going to take a look at our latest model guidance for the next 2 weeks. And let's wait for this to load. And again, see, there's a lot of cold air right there over, the east right now, at least. And there's a big polar vortex, or at least a small polar vortex in Hudson Bay, Canada. But just take a look at the western Canadian region. This is where you want to keep your eyes out for major cold because that's where the cold air is going to be displaced, I believe. So again, like right here by hour 2:31, we see a lot of cold just shooting down into the USA right there. So I think if we have any chance of any eastern seaboard or eastern half of the USA snowstorms, it's going to be because of this block here due to the SSW because that will be the origin of any cold we get, I believe, which will be centered towards the northern plains and towards the western half of the USA, including California. Even think we could get in on some cold weather here. Let's take a look at our NOAA's 8 to 14 day temperature outlook. And again, like I said, with that positive NAO, it's going to be hard to get cold in the Northeast, but here in the Southwest, going to be a lot easier. Now, this is not showing any significant cooling due to the SSW. But again, the main theme in this video is that due to the displacement of the ridge over Canada due to the SSW, we're not going to see prolonged and extreme, for that matter, cold air in the eastern half of the USA. It's going to be predominantly warm air. So I would not look forward to any snowstorms in the Northeast anytime soon, especially Cleveland, Detroit. It's just going to be too warm. Simple as that. And the jet stream doesn't look to be too favorable either because, again, we're not getting that undercut with the jet. We're just getting a very zonal flow, imbalanced flow, not really organized at all. Let's take a look at our Penn State E-wall, see what's going on here in the let's take a look at our 2 week forecast off the European model. And okay, that's not loaded. We're gonna have to look. Let's just do the classic GFS American model and see what that has. So we're looking at the upper left-hand image for learning purposes. Again, we have that trough in extreme trough in eastern Canada, which is just going to penetrate the east with a lot of cold, the northeast, but it's not going to be anything long range as it moves out by hour 96, February 5th. And then we see some warm air try to break in by February 6th and into the 7th. And then we have another trough come in around February hour 156, and then kind of undercuts, creates some rain there in Texas as we look at the lower right hand image. But again, nothing major. And then we go to hour 204, hour 216. Again, really nothing major. In fact, the cold air isn't even that extreme due to this SSW if you look at it closely. But then it's going to be tricky. It's a tricky forecast, this SSW event. As we can see, by 2:40, we have another cold front breaking loose across the USA. So there's a lot of interesting things going on in the weather right now, but it's interesting in the sense that it's a lot of potential energy. It's not really nothing active at the moment, but we have a lot going on in the upper levels of the atmosphere, such as the stratosphere, way up there. Don't quote me, but I believe the stratosphere is above the one of the top layers of the atmosphere. It's either that or right above the troposphere, which is the layer closest to the Earth. Um, but nevertheless, due to the movement of air in the stratosphere, the warming, we're going to have a lot of just potential energy in the atmosphere. We're going to have a big ridge over Western Canada, so we'll see how that cooperates with our other weather systems in the USA in the meanwhile down south. And so, yeah, no major snows in the forecast, but that can change. Make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe to my channel for more long range weather content. May you have a great day. Peace out. Take care.